Welcome to another episode of the Antifragility Reframe podcast, where struggles become strength and stress fuels growth. I'm Dr. Frank Douglas, your host, and my guest today is Mr. Meir Ezra. He is the CEO of Guaranteed Prosperity. He spends about 10% of his time coaching other CEOs and individuals to help them achieve prosperity. As he says, we must focus on results. Mr. Ezra, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, and thank you for everyone that's listening.
Well, we are looking forward to learn how you have made so many millionaires by getting them to focus on results. So tell us a little bit about the beginning of your journey and what led you to really focus on coaching individuals. I know you have about 25 businesses, so you're a very busy man. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
So I'm Israeli. I started I was extremely successful at a very young age. I've made my first $100 million when I was 31 years old, and opened more and more companies. And people always ask me, how do you do that? What should I do? Friends, lots of friends. And always I had lots of questions. How do you do that? What about my business? I have a problem with $50. What do I do? So, and I always had this.
I have $50. What do I do?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
So people come to me and ask me for all the time question, and I was very willing to sit down and help and explain. And one day, one guy that worked with me, he came to me. I met him through another guy, and I helped him with his business. He came up with some kind of some special bottle for runners and whatever. And I helped him, and he became very, very successful very quickly. And he says, look, you have to teach more people. And I said, no, I'm Jewish. I have to make more money. I have a different purpose. And he was really pushing me. You have to. And I said, okay, fine. So he arranged for me to speak in some event, some very big event in front of 300 CEOs. And this event was phenomenal. I had those guys like I was selling them some kind of a course. And I thought, I will do three-day course, teach them quickly, and maybe I will have 20 people, 30 people, whatever. Anyway, we closed 200 people out of the 300, and the ticket price for the 3 days was $4,000. And it was like I did not expect it. It was like, what's going on? So I was teaching these businesses how to organize the business and how to make money, etc. And during the seminar already, people ask me for coaching and this and that. And I said, whoa, that's going to take way too much time because I have a lot to do. So I decided, okay, I will open a company and I will train a few people to handle most of the requests. And what I will do is just write the material and deliver specific seminars.
So tell me, what are some of the things that you find that have people not focus on results?
So most of the people are focusing on what they need to do. And they do, and they do, and they do, and they do, and they do. It's like someone that's walking in a forest, and he walk, and he walk, and he walk, and he walk, and he never see a mountain that will tell him this is where you're going to. So the first thing is you need the mountain. It needs to be a result, not a purpose, not a mission, and not something very tangible. I want $20 in my bank account on Monday. Something really tangible. Now, if I have this result, then it will be very clear to me what I need to do. And the next thing that needs to happen is you need to make yourself fall in love with what you need to do. I don't care if you feel like it or not. You create your own feelings. Feelings belong to you. It's not an accident of some kind of a chemical reaction. If you understand the end result, and you will know what you need to do, and you will make yourself fall in love with that. I'll tell you how I realized that. It was, I was, obviously, I told you I was Israeli. I was in a very special unit. I was in the army, 6 years in the army in special unit. And when I was released from the army, I needed to start making money. And I said, okay, fine, what will I do? Oh, okay, I want to start a business, but I'm not sure yet what I will do. Maybe I want to go to study. And someone told me, you know, there's this old guy that looking for someone to take care of him. I said, well, I can do that. That sounds to me quite easy. And I went to that family, and he was living in a very modest house, and he couldn't talk, and he couldn't control his, peas and everything. And the lady that was interviewing me was taking care of him and says, look, I was working here for 2 months, and it was too much for me. It's too difficult, and I have to leave, and I'm looking for someone to replace me. And I said, okay, who is the family, etc. And she said, you know, the family don't want to really be involved. You take care of him. They'll pay you salary, and that's all. I said, okay, fine. So I started, and I looked, and I said, no, I have a purpose. I want to get this guy to talk, and I want him to be in communication with me, and I want to get to a point where he feels so good that if he wants to get healthy, fine. If he will die, fine. But I'm going to make him better than a 16 years old. So I started to take care of him, and I decided, okay, fine. I need to clean his diaper. I couldn't think about doing it to my own child, maybe, but I decided I'm going to fall in love with that. It was not a problem. It was the best thing. I was waiting for him to replace the diaper. When it was replacing the diaper, I was the happiest man in the world. I cleaned him with all my heart. I started to clean the house, to paint, to fix things. I needed to buy stuff. I didn't have much money, but I went and I bought paint, and I replaced the lights, and I fixed the thing that didn't work. And after a few weeks, his son come to the house. I obviously didn't know that his son. And I see this businessman, very respected guy, come in, and he knock on the door, and I open the door and I say, can I help you? He say, yes, I want to come in. I said, no, excuse me, who are you? He said, well, this guy is my father. What happened here? And I said, what do you mean what happened? He says, everything different, everything clean, organized, smell nice. Who did that, all of this thing? I said, I. And he said, and who paid you? I said, no one, I did it. And he said, what do you mean you did it? I said, I did it. It's my job. I want to make him feel good. I want to bring the results. And he could not believe what happened. He told me at that meeting, he said, look, you're coming to work for me. I said, I'm not coming to work for you. I have your father. I need to take care of him. That's my result. He said,
what are some of the, if you like, obstacles that people put, before themselves, that you sort of have to break through and get them to see things differently?
Okay. So the first thing, probably the most important thing, people have this idea that they need more knowledge. And I think people don't need more knowledge. I think people need to remove the broken knowledge. Why? Because the Spirit knows. The Spirit knows. If I tell you this is white, what do? You go and you look in your mind and you say yes or no. You agree this is white, which means you already knew. So the Spirit knows. How come the Spirit don't actually, if the Spirit knows everything, and regardless if you are religious or not, if you have been created in the image of God, how come you're so limited? You're so limited because you have beliefs in false, stupid pieces of data that prevents you from demonstrating your abilities. So the first thing we need to teach people is that learning is not adding data, but it's removing false data. You don't need to add data. If I will just remove all the things that do not work in your life, but you really believe 100% that they are correct, if I remove only that, you'll see that the improvement will be unbelievable, and I do that every day. So I removed the lies, and I don't need to bring truth because you are truth.
An
People that
example. Give us an example of a success story.
I'll give you an example. There was one cell phone company that started in Israel. Yes, they were the third cell phone company in Israel, and the guy that became the VP marketing came to me and says, Meir, look, we're the third one, and we have a problem because there's a price issue, and the competition is vicious. And if we don't get to a certain market share, we have a problem with the investors because we promised to a certain. And I said, well, so what's happening? And he said, well, the problem is this and this and that and that. And I said, thank you for telling me. I know it's not the problem. And he said, what do you mean? I said, look, if you know that the problem is X and the problem is not being solved, you're trying to solve the wrong problem. That's a law. If you know the problem is X and the problem is not being solved, you're trying to solve the wrong problem. And he told me, so what do you do? What do we do? What do we do? I said, okay, let me do an investigation. I went into the company, started to do an investigation, looking. I found the real reason for the problem. I came to him and I said, listen, it's going to cost probably something like $20,000, and I'm going to double your income within 6 months. And he said, it cannot be. I said, look, I'll do a deal with you. If it is all that you promised to pay me, I give you extra. So you promise to pay me $1 million, I'll give you two. Okay? And if it is correct, you double what I'm supposed to get. So that's a good deal. I went in. The problem was very simple. They had the service department, the support department, the phone room of the support department was just right next to the phone room of the salespeople. So the salespeople all day long heard bad news, problems, and people are good. They don't want to sell a bad product. So all I did, I separated them. I took the salespeople to another building. It cost $10,000 for a new space, yes? Took them down. Within 3 months, we doubled the sales. They became number one in Israel. One action, when you find the real reason for the problem, the statistic goes up the moon.
As we come to an end of the session, that you would.
Okay, so probably the most important principle is be willing to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm. Number 2, you are perfect, and anything that is not perfect is not you. You already know. You are perfect. Anything that is not perfect is not you. Number 3, if you want to succeed in life, be willing to experience anything. Anything that happens is fine. But you do only those things that other people can easily experience. If you have these 3, you are fine.
Say that last one again.
Be willing to experience anything.
Yeah.
Someone tell me, you are a dirty Jew. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to rush to the shower and I'll take a shower. Not a problem. It's not a problem. Whatever they say, it's okay. If they want to punch me, not a problem. I will block. Everything is fine. I'm willing to experience anything. I lost money, not a problem. Nothing is a problem from my viewpoint. But when I do for other people, I need to be super, super delicate and do only what they can experience, what they can accept easily. So I'm willing to accept anything, but I will never tell to another guy, oh, you're a dirty Jew. I'm willing for anyone to tell me you're a dirty Jew. Not wrong, anytime. But when I talk to another person, I will never point out something that's wrong with him. I will make him right. I will do only these things that for him, it's easy to accept. And if you do that, you will see that people will start to conspire to help you.
One of my guests made what I thought was a very nice comment, which is somewhat similar to that. She said, we talk about that we would like people to treat us as we would like to be treated. And she said, no, it should be we treat people as they would like to be treated.
100%. Yeah.
Mr. Ezra, thank you very much. This has
Thank
been
you.
really quite revealing and quite delightful.